Bonjour everyone. Today again we are in nature. It's good to talk about the moon in nature, isn't it? So this new moon happening on the 20th of November 2025 is a Scorpion new moon. The moon of inside, the inner side. And it's happening at 4:46 p.m. Brisbane time, Australia. And she's sitting at 28 degrees 11 minutes of Scorpion. So it's a very intense new moon. I'm going to share with you my thought about it. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Françoise the Guiding Star. And also, before we're going to start about this new moon, I just want to know if you follow me in Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, please continue to click the thumbs up button and put some comments. I love to read them and to answer them. And of course, if you would like a personal reading with me, send me your birth detail on info@francoisemonroe360art.au and we'll find a perfect time to meet online or in person. So this Scorpio new moon is like a final plunge into the year 2025. It is the last invitation to introspection, because 4 hours after this new moon, the moon will enter Sagittarius. So it is a new moon that occurs briefly, but with rare intensity. And I'm sure you feel this intensity in the days before now, and you will still feel it after the new moon. The energy of Scorpion is highly concentrated with the presence of a triple conjunction here, with the moon, the sun and Mercury exactly conjunct. And there is also Lilith conjunct, the black moon Lilith, and also Venus, but Venus is not in conjunction. So this is an exceptional new moon, an important initiatory passage. The sign of Scorpion is not just a sign of mystery or drama. It is also an archetype of truth and stripping away. Scorpion cannot tolerate pretense, and it wants to see what is hidden, to understand the mechanisms of the human soul and pierce illusions. It is truly the sign of the therapist, the researcher, the surgeon in psychology. This lunation awakens in you your capacity to face what you have been avoided for too long, those areas you have preferred to live in the shadows, hidden under the rug of emotional management. Whether it be addictions, anger, wounds, regret, Scorpion invites you to lift the rug. It doesn't ask for perfection, but for clarity. So psychologically, this lunar cycle is a key moment, like a cosmic therapy session. It invites you to descend into your depths, to revisit past patterns, and above all, to try to understand why you react, why you try to control, and why sometimes you resist certain things. It is interesting to see that we are in a series of lunar cycles, all at 28 degrees of the sign. The October new moon at 28 degrees Libra, this November new moon at 28 degrees Scorpion, the December new moon at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Under the vibration of the number 28, which is 1, you are invited to be ambitious and progressive, willing to lead and take responsibility. You want to improve your life condition. You are a visionary with the ability to make your dreams come true. You are ready for action and pioneering ventures. So be courageous and bold, because you are the master of your fate, the sovereign of your world. On the shadow side, the vibrations of 28 or 1 can be reckless and daring. So practice self-control to regain your balance. This lunation works like a truth cure, because the Sun, Moon and Mercury in Scorpion are in a very, very tight opposition to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Here, Uranus retrograde in Taurus forces you to let go of your certainties and step out of your comfort zone. This can bring contradictions, competition, surprises, unusual events. But this lunation offers many possibilities as a result of these unusual or unexpected events. So proceed with caution with your finances, the law, your property, your partnerships, but most of all, with placing too much trust in others. It is all about good profits or surprising losses. During this lunation, your good judgment is tested, as it is essential in all transactions and agreements. So don't use rash behavior. During this lunation, we have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which support faith and structure. In an harmonious conversation, a trine with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, who maintains an emotional and protective dimension. So it is as if everything is aligned, so that you let go of the old without losing yourself. But be warned, all this is not a gentle liberation. Scorpion energy is the clarity that comes after the crisis, the lucidity that truly emerges after the chaos. Scorpion has always been associated with the cycle of death and rebirth. And in all stories, in all mythologies, there is the same lesson. We are never reborn without passing through the realm of the dead. So symbolically, this lunar cycle invites you to do so. You are never reborn to yourself without going through more complex, more difficult periods, and transformation never happens easily. So on the day of this new moon, the skies ask you a simple question. Are you ready to look at what you still refuse to see? This is not a contemplative lunar cycle that is beginning. It is a lunar cycle of inner action. And this new moon does not happen in isolation, because Mercury in retrograde is very close to the Sun and the Moon. In astrology, we say that Mercury is in Kazimi, at the very heart of the Sun, symbolizing a deep fusion of energies. Mercury represents communication, intellect, and your rational mind. And during this moon, your rational mind, Mercury, with your vital energy, the Sun, and your unconscious, the Moon, are merged in Scorpion so that you can do a major inner cleansing. This alignment can be seen as a moment of pure inspiration, where ideas and insights emerge from the depths of your inner self, allowing for profound understanding and innovative expression. And Mercury retrograde in Scorpion is truly thought descending into the depths. It is a mind that wants to understand the true hidden motivation and the profound reason for what you feel. This Mercury retrograde in Scorpion is not talkative. It is an inner detective Mercury we have here. He scans, he searches, he seeks to understand everything. He wants to get to the bottom of the mystery, and what he finds are not easy answers. They are truths you have buried, memories you have thought were filed away, and this puts you in a state that can be unpleasant. And you might blame yourself for what you are feeling about these repressed emotions that keep coming back to haunt you. This Mercury is like a psychoanalyst. He won't stop at the how, he wants to understand the why, and he won't shy away from any taboo. So Mercury in Scorpion invites you to descend into the depths of your psyche, to confront what you have been avoiding, even if unconsciously, and to add more intense energy, the triple conjunction Moon, Sun and Mercury is conjunct the Black Moon Lilith. The Black Moon Lilith is both fascinating and very disturbing. Lilith is Adam's first companion according to Hebrew tradition. She is the one who refuses submission, who says no to domination but yes to her own sovereignty. And in a birth chart, Lilith represents the part of you that you feel rejected. There's also a connection to karma, wounds, trauma, sexuality. So Lilith is a dark and radical energy, and besides, Scorpion is the most radical sign of the zodiac. So this Black Moon Lilith in Scorpion describe a tension, a drive, something you are repressing, something that can be sexual, but not just sexual. It also can be a passion, a love, a project. Sometimes you are convinced was not for you because you believed it is unacceptable. But in fact, it is stronger than you. You feel it, you vibrate it inside. It is boiling over intensely. Because the Black Moon Lilith is conjunct this new moon, you can't run from her. So everything related to desire, anger, personal power, independence, the irrational part of your personality is brought to the forefront during this lunar cycle. The new moon is also in an harmonious trine with Jupiter in Cancer. This means that to evolve, you are forced to go through the depths, and this brings very intense emotional fluctuations, which can indeed create a lot of fatigue during this lunar cycle. Jupiter is retrograde in its sign of exaltation, Cancer, since the 11th of November until the 11th of March 2026. Each time there is a retrogradation, there are doors that open. And here, Jupiter in Cancer is very interested with the past. The past is where you come from, who you are, your roots, your family history, your origins. Retrograde Jupiter brings depth, density, and in Cancer you need to feel secure. And you need to know where you come from, who you are, and here Jupiter invites you to reflect, to turn to the past and revisit your history. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is a propitious time to examine your family's pain, the pain of your childhood. You are invited to turn around and take advantage of this Jupiter retrograde period, to change your perspective and shift towards the present and the future. And everything you look at in the past will be a form of illusion. Because, be careful, one of the pitfalls of retrograde Jupiter is not to drown in the past. Because you might look at your past and forget to project yourself into the present and completely ignore the future. The past can absorb you, engulf you, and it can serve as a distraction, a kind of compensation. Because when you feed on the stories of the past, you deprive yourself of approaching the present and the future with a fresh perspective. But that does not mean you have to destroy the past. If you are in the present and turn toward the future, you can look at the past. On the other hand, if you are completely turned toward the past, you cannot look at the future with any kind of vision. And this vision is given by planet Uranus. And Jupiter and Uranus are beginning a minor sextile at the moment, a friendly conversation, which will be exact in July 2026. And this harmonious interaction allows you to perceive life from a visionary perspective. When you have a vision of yourself or the world, you see things from a completely different angle. And retrograde periods are invitation to internalize your energies, to take time to reflect, to meditate, because there is a vision to be acquired. So Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, with the support of Uranus, invites you to heal the pains of your childhood and to look at life from a different perspective. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is also powerfully supported by a trine conversation with the planets Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Pisces and both retrograde. Saturn and Jupiter provide you with a nurturing, reassuring and stable presence, which means that you can develop positively throughout this timeline. So whatever you do, you have around you a reassuring framework. And the Jupiter-Saturn trine brings an ability to integrate the fundamentals. What is essential in your life? Jupiter retrograde in Cancer can also reveal your excesses of behavior. There is also this question of putting yourself in danger, fear because you no longer feel safe. And this lunation can be a period where you feel very vulnerable, where you need to feel protected. You need your cocoon. But above all, the Jupiter retrograde period is like an assessment, allowing you to reassess everything that has been a bit excessive and to indicate a new direction to take. So at this Scorpio new moon, you are invited to do the take stock, to figure out what is important in your life. What would you like? What are you willing to do to get out of the impasse you are in, whether it is a professional, family or personal impasse? And if you are not in an impasse, then what are your dreams, your aspirations, and what steps can you take to achieve them? So this new moon in Scorpion goes very far because she unfolds in a climate of very strong spiritual support with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, in trine to Jupiter and Cancer. And like I said, they are all retrograde. Saturn structures, Neptune inspires, Jupiter amplifies and protects. So this trio creates an inner space of safety to dare to dive in. And this requires courage, an inner courage, that is to say, the courage to look at your own flaws, to confront your own demons, and not everyone will be able to do that. And if you don't do it during this new moon timeline, don't worry, it is a work you can always do later. But frankly, when you have a new moon like this one in Scorpion, it is a moment that can bear fruit much more quickly than if you wait. This new moon does not seek to destroy, she seeks to reveal. So the goal, it's about moving towards something more just. And the teaching of this new moon in Scorpion is clear. To assess life, you must first experience symbolic death. It is an inner death, but a fruitful one. Because as long as you refuse to look at your shadows, life will take care of bringing them back, either in the form of an event or in a form of an encounter or a crisis, sometimes bad ones. But Scorpion is a sign that prefers to anticipate. He wants to understand lessons before they knock on the door. So this lunar cycle is a rare opportunity for psychological maturity. It allows you to say, okay, I'm going to see what is happening inside of me. I know it's not comfortable, but it is liberating. Because the energy of Scorpion is the energy of raw courage. We are not talking about the courage of great external battles. In fact, we tend to believe our strength comes from our light, but often it is born instead from our ability to look at our darkness without getting lost in it. That is very important. It is about observing, analyzing, but not getting lost in fantasy, excesses or fears. So this lunar cycle is a powerful time where the inner charade no longer holds up, where the gap between what you feel and what you show becomes far too wide. So lying to yourself becomes not only absurd, but actually exhausting. And this new moon in Scorpion is a radical confrontation with your inner truth. And for months perhaps, you have had certain warning signs accumulating, such as choices you keep putting off, situation you maintain to avoid making waves, emotions you numb, telling yourself, well, it will be better tomorrow anyway. But Scorpion can no longer tolerate these half measures. It prefers the pain of a sharp truth to the anesthetic of lies. So this Scorpion new moon is a visceral and primal energy, because the Taurus-Scorpion axis is the axis of the survival instinct. And this new moon is asking you, so now what do you want? Do you want to live or do you want to survive? This new moon psychologically forces you to look at the gap between your action and your values. So you can no longer say yes when your body screams no. This new moon in Scorpion, supported by Saturn and Neptune, invites you to rely on common sense. She pushes you toward the truth of Scorpion, which is not moral but organic. This is not the time to tell yourself, I think I should maybe change, but rather to tell yourself, I feel I cannot go on like this anymore. So I am putting something in place right now, a strategy, because now is the best moment. And here we have a strong connection with the fourth Hawaiian principle, MANAWA, which says now is a moment of power, be here. MANAWA is a powerful reminder to live in the present moment, to embrace the moment with awareness and intention. The present moment is the only one that truly matters. The past is behind you and the future is uncertain. But the present is the only time you can act, create, and live fully. MANAWA. MANAWA encourages you to let go of past regrets and worries about the future, and to focus on what is here, now. This MANAWA new moon is a call to be present, to be aware of your thoughts, emotion, and action, and to live each moment with intention and gratitude. So this lunar cycle is a moment to put something in place right now that will lead you toward change. I'm thinking especially of a dear friend who just made an appointment with his doctor to go on a retreat in a rehabilitation center for his severe alcohol addiction. Well done, bravo! This lunar cycle is a time to take action, and here Scorpion is not inviting you to destroy everything, but rather to delve into coherence. What you need is not a perfect version of yourself, but the true, authentic version of yourself, the one that trembles, the one that doubts, but still dares to say, even if I don't know where I'm going, I can no longer live half a life. Even if you don't know exactly what you want, your life experience leads you to know what you no longer want. So this new moon in Scorpion tells you you are not reborn without first being stripped bare. And in this lunar cycle, Venus is in Scorpion, amplifying this desire for transformation. With Venus in Scorpion, relationships become mirrors. You discover what you truly love, but also what you love and why you love and who you love. And you realize that sometimes what you call love is actually a power struggle, a fear of abandonment, or even an attempt to repair the past. Venus in Scorpion wants the truth, even if it burns. So this new moon in Scorpion is a time when the mask falls, when superficial relationships crack, when you can no longer pretend. If you persist in the falsehood, which is also possible because we are all having a free will and this is what we choose, but situation will be more complicated in the future. This new moon is a rite of passage, so how do you navigate this energy? Certainly not by running away, much less by fleeing. Scorpion doesn't tolerate flight. It always catches up with you. It tells you, stop, take a deep breath and look. Because as long as you are running, you remain in fear. And as long as you are in fear, you are not truly making choices. And the choices you make under the pressure of fear are not good choices. So truly this new moon in Scorpion marks an inner metamorphosis, and she's accompanied by a precious ingredient, which is Venus. Which means that this rite of passage is not a test of strength, but an act of love toward yourself. Voilà. There you go. Thank you very much for listening to me. May we all be blessed with love and light.